And smile today, 'cause you might be gone tomorrow. Smile today. Smile today.
Today we are standing with other like-minded passionate activists all around the world. It's very important. You are the voices for all those that have none. So I thank you for whatever you do in whatever way. Sharing information, challenging people's ideals, witnessing, it all makes a difference. Because it only takes one moment of clarity for some other individual to wake up to the reality that speciesism is wrong. And that's why we are marching today. We are here to represent the billions of animals that can't be here. Thank you.
Why do we want change? We're sick of the suffering. There's no excuse. End the abuse. When? Now. We are all equal.
End the abuse.
So of course, speciesism is saying that humans are more valuable than any other animal on the planet, and we all know that's rubbish. So we are here to end speciesism. We are here for a fair and just world for all living beings on this planet. So thank you for joining us here today and sharing your voice with us. My name is Rick Allport. I'm one of the directors of Coast to Coast Animal Friends. I'm also the state convener of the Animal Justice Party. So I will be talking to you a little bit later just about becoming a political animal, because that is something that we need to do to get a voice in all levels of society. However,
Shut down the meat machine! All this killing is obscene! Shut down the meat machine! All this killing is obscene! Shut down the meat machine! Why are we here? To stop the whole thing! Why do we want change? Shut down the meat machine! Woo! Filthy animals, guys! Shut down the meat machine! It is obscene! You are here for compassion. You're on this planet for compassion. It's what we are here to do. This is why we are vegan. Right? All this killing is obscene! Shut down the meat machine! All this killing.
Alright guys, so as Rick kindly introduced me, my name is Brian Hormond. I have been a vegan for 2 years as of next month. Woo! And I've been an animal rights activist, a full-time animal rights activist for over a year. And today I want to start with a personal story. Beforehand though, I really want to highlight that I do not consider my emotions, my feelings, or my life to be worth more than anyone else's. I don't care how much money you make, how smart you are, where you come from, or what you look like. All life matters, and we all deserve to be here. So even though I'm a proud vegan now, these figures still stand. Annual, this is yearly. 60 billion innocent animals are being slaughtered every single year for food that we don't need. 2 trillion marine creatures are being massacred every single year for food that we don't need. 120 billion fish are being slaughtered every year for food that we don't need. 115 million innocent animals are living a life of daily torture as test subjects in labs. 1 billion rabbits and over 50 million other animals are being electrocuted and having their skin peeled off so we can wear their fur. 1 million animals are being hunted for sport, for entertainment. Over 10,000 species are going extinct every single year because of deforestation caused by the demand for meat, dairy, and eggs. A mother cow will have her baby ripped away from her so we can steal her milk. An innocent pig, an intelligent pig, will be put into a gas chamber to die a slow death in what's considered to be the most humane method of killing. Baby chicks will be thrown live into grinders just because of their gender. Until the killing stops, veganism won't be enough. We need more activists. Like I said, the killing must stop first. We need more activists. The world needs to be vegan, yes. The animals need us to be vegan, but it's not happening fast enough because we need to push more. We need to be on the right side of history. So, we need more activists, and as Philip Wallen would say, if not you, who? And if not now, then when? Please, get off the fence, be on the right side of history, make change, be a hero for all beings. Do it for a planet, stand up for people, and stand up for the voiceless victims. Do it for the animals. Let's end speciesism.
There's no excuse!
End the abuse!
When?
Now!
Do that to any innocent being if we don't have to.
We're just on a march.
We definitely don't have to do any of that.
Animals feel pain.
Why are we here?
To fight for all beings!
What do we want change?
We're sick of the
Suffering! End the abuse! Now! All are equal!
Just found out. Turns out animals feel pain. New research. They suffer just as we do. We're just letting you all know. We're on a little march letting you all know that animals feel pain.
So my name's Kathy. I'm from Animal Liberation Queensland. We're a volunteer-run registered charity. So I just want to link what our mission is at ALQ with the aim of ending speciesism and its consequences, because that's really at the heart of this. Speciesism is what enables otherwise compassionate people to close their eyes to suffering, close their ears to the cries, and close their hearts to the fact that sentient beings are suffering in horrible ways, and yet they're no different to you and me in their capacity to suffer. And this becomes even more sharply into focus when you think about how our culture will treat some animals with a great deal of care and respect, and others are relegated to being nothing more than property with, what we can do what we want with. So an example might be, when your friends share cute videos of piglets, and yet then they go home and eat pork belly or something. It's where we condemn nations who carry out whaling, and yet we go home and eat so-called seafood and hunt fish for sport. It's maybe watching a cute video where somebody rescues a family of ducks or helps them across the road, but then we just mindlessly eat chickens and eggs without a moment's thought as to how they got onto the shop shelves. I mean, ultimately, I would say it's saying that you love animals or care about them and respect them, but paying to support industries that inflict pain, suffering, and extreme violence. It's putting our interests above theirs, ultimately, and I think this stems from a pretty messed up worldview whereby we always had sort of human supremacy, this idea that humanity was made in God's image, and it sort of all stems into the same things that allow us to discriminate against, say, one class of human to another. And it's a social justice issue in the end. But what really gives me hope is that this movement is growing by the day. I'm so inspired by the activists that I meet all the time. I'm inspired by everyone who is willing to show up to something, even if they're not yet sure, they haven't necessarily fully made that connection. We're getting more and more interest, we're getting inquiries, we're getting people just beginning to open that little chink in their heart, and that's the beginning of change. I see the writing on the wall, the writings on the wall, and this can't continue. So we'd love to have more numbers, because the more numbers, the more visible we are, and the more we can bring about a gradual change of culture away from speciesism and to a more compassionate world. So thanks so much, everyone.
I'm Kobe. I am the founder and president of Orangutan Foundation International Australia, and we work really, really hard rescuing and rehabilitating orphan orangutans. Our care centre in Borneo, we're in the south of Borneo in central Kalimantan. Right now, this minute, we've got 330 orphan baby orangutans whose mothers have all been killed. Not all for palm oil, but in the main, I would say 95% for palm oil. And those little babies come in, when they watch their mothers killed, it is exactly the same effect that our children would have if they saw us being killed in front of them. The babies come in completely traumatised, completely depressed, they're suffering from malnutrition, but the shock of losing their mothers is just, you know, just beyond what they can cope with, and it can take a really long time to get them back to having the will to live again, and it's incredibly devastating to watch. But so yeah, we bring the babies in as little orphans, and it takes us 10 years to rehabilitate one orangutan. So we believe at Orangutan Foundation International that we are responsible for them for their entire lives. So we do rehabilitate them back into the wild. Unfortunately, the Indonesian government have to give us permission for every single release. So right now we have 100 orangutans ready to go to be released back into the wild. One, we have to have the land, and we don't have enough land to release 100 at once, because a male orangutan needs 15 kilometres of his own. So the females will hang together, the males are solitary. But what I'd really like to talk to you about is what you can do to help. Orangutans are critically endangered. If we don't change our consumer habits, everyone in the world, in the next 2 decades, there will be no more orangutan populations left in the wild. I mean, there will still be orangutans in zoos and in captivity, but they'll be gone. And the main reason for that is palm oil. The other thing is the illegal trade in orangutan babies, and also bushmeat. Some of the local peoples will still kill orangutans to eat, but that's a small population. But palm oil is the problem, and even people like us that really care about what we're consuming, a lot of people feel that they're buying great products because they say vegan and they say organic. Palm oil is vegan. It's organic, it's botanic, it's a plant. So when you read this product is vegan, it doesn't mean you're not harming animals. It's palm oil is killing animals every day. And I mean, so please, next time you're buying in your supermarket, please just go and spend 10 minutes more and read the back for your labels. I've got free palm oil cards over there and lots of information about Orangutan Foundation, how you can foster orangutans, how you can help. But thank you so much for listening to me, and please remember orangutans next time you're thinking about buying a product with palm oil in it. Thank you.
All this killing is obscene!
Shut down the meat machine!
All this killing is obscene!
There's no excuse for animal abuse! 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 There's no excuse for animal abuse!
There's no excuse!
Animal abuse!
There's no excuse!
Animal abuse!
There's no excuse!
For animal abuse!
There's no excuse!
Animal abuse!
There's no excuse!
Shut down the abuse machine!
All this killing is obscene!
Shut down the abuse machine!
Yeah, all this killing is obscene!
Shut down the abuse machine!
Tell them all this killing is obscene! There's no excuse!
For animal
Tell them
abuse!
there's no excuse!
For animal abuse!
There's no excuse!
So my name is Josh. I worked in a cattle slaughterhouse for 3 years. And to be honest, I was the ultimate speciesist. I was actually convinced myself in that time and before that time that all the murder was normal, all the slavery was normal, as long as it was done to certain animals. That's essentially what speciesism is. I thought murder is terrible. I thought slavery is terrible if it's done to humans. To animals, a different story. I looked at a study which was conducted in the US and actually found 85% of meat-eating participants stated that they personally couldn't kill an animal to obtain the meat. They just couldn't do it. That's a large proportion. However, when they were asked whether they were prepared to pay another person to perform that task, it came down to 25%. So thereby they acknowledged that there was a burden that they couldn't handle, but they were happy to place it onto another person. And by doing that, they're placing the burden of speciesist reasoning, which the sticker used, the knocker used to get through their day, upon a select few of people in our society, while they had speciesist ignorance, and ignorance is bliss. Speciesism is morally wrong, and it's the living of your life with your senses numbed. You need to invoke your senses and end speciesism. Now, when we look at it and we hear about it, we think it's this monumental thing because society is so ingrained in it. But actually, it's the most powerful thing that we can do to change it. As individuals, we don't have to write to politicians, although you can. You don't have to volunteer, although you can. You don't have to donate, although you can. But by merely changing your lifestyle to a vegan lifestyle, you completely stop speciesism. As an individual, you haven't donated money, you haven't donated time, you haven't even got out of your bed and existed any different other than you just haven't consumed them, wore them, or anything else from them. And it's actually the most kindest thing you can do, and it's the most powerful thing you can do. So what we can take from this is no matter how big the opposition is, we have the power that we can defeat it as individuals the most easiest and the most kindest of ways. So I ask you that, when you think about these and you might get down about it, it's the most simplest thing you can do as an individual is to go and get a vegan life, to transition to a vegan lifestyle. You will feel so much better. You don't have to watch the cruel videos anymore. You don't have to worry about anything else. You live your life kind and compassionate, which is what we're naturally supposed to do. So thank you for listening. I know it was pretty hard. If you have any questions or anything like that, I'm happy to talk to you personally afterwards. And yeah, thank you.
There's no excuse for animal abuse! 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 Now all are equal! All is killing is obscene! Shut down the abuse machine! All is killing is obscene! Shut down the abuse machine! All is killing is obscene! Shut down the abuse machine! All is killing is obscene!
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have our last speech here for this afternoon. So come around, and we have the wonderful Ruth Hatton coming up to speak to you. She has pretty much dedicated her life to the cause of animals. She has recently left a government job. She's seen the light. I said I wasn't going to say that, but I did anyway. So she's coming up here.
So what is speciesism? Speciesism is the idea that being human is a good enough reason for human animals to have greater moral rights than non-human animals. The term was popularised by Australian philosopher Peter Singer in his work Animal Liberation. The term was actually coined though by British psychologist Richard D. Ryder in 1970 in a pamphlet titled Speciesism, which protested animal experimentation. Peter Singer argued that although there may be differences between humans and non-humans, they share the capacity to suffer, and we must give equal consideration to that suffering. The term speciesism was added to the Oxford English Dictionary in 1985, defined as discrimination against or exploitation of animal species by human beings based on an assumption of mankind's superiority. The Oxford Dictionary of Philosophy later extended the term to mean, by analogy with racism and sexism, the improper stance of refusing respect to the lives, dignity or needs of animals of other than the human species. So what does speciesism look like in practice? It looks something like this. I choose to eat steak because my desire to eat steak is more important than the cow's moral right to life and safety from harm. I choose to kill native animals because my desire to build a house is more important than native animals' moral right to life and safety from harm. I choose to wear fur because my desire to look good is more important than a rabbit or mink's moral right to life and safety from harm. I choose to visit zoos because my desire to see elephants is more important than an elephant's moral right to freedom. I choose to wear CoverGirl mascara because my desire for long, thick lashes is more important than a rabbit's moral right to life, safety from harm, and to freedom. I choose to race greyhounds because my desire for money is more important than a greyhound's moral right to safety from harm. I have titled my presentation today, Speciesism on Your Plate, but the focus is actually more on the sub-ideology of speciesism, called carnism. So what is carnism and how is it relevant? Sorry, I'm so reliant on my notes here. Carnism specifically focuses on eating animals. It's an invisible belief system that conditions us to eat certain animals. Carnism essentially blocks our awareness and blocks our natural empathy for those species we've learned to classify as edible. The term carnism was coined by psychologist Dr. Melanie Joy, and it means the invisible belief system or ideology that conditions people to eat certain animals, animals who are considered to rank lower in the species hierarchy. The belief that certain animals are meant to be eaten is woven through the fabric of society. The psychological defense mechanisms of carnism, denial, justification, and cognitive distortions like objectification and categorization, distort our perceptions and numb our feelings so that we act against our core values of compassion and justice. We disconnect from our natural empathy when we eat animals. To quote Dr. Melanie Joy just one more time, once we understand carnism, once we name it, once we recognize these defenses for what they are, they lose a tremendous amount of their power over us. When we free ourselves of this carnistic mentality that we've all been indoctrinated into, we can make food choices that reflect what we authentically think and feel rather than what we've been taught to think and feel. The number of animals killed for the reproduction of meat, eggs and dairy are staggering. 18 animals per second in Australia, 3,000 per second worldwide. We as individuals can make a difference by freeing ourselves of carnism and choosing a plant-based diet.
All this killing is obscene!
Shut down the abuse machine!
All this killing is obscene!
Shut down the abuse machine!
All this killing is obscene!
Shut down the abuse machine!
All this killing is obscene!
Shut down the abuse machine!
All this killing is obscene! Come on guys, deal with the animals! There is no excuse! For animal abuse! For animal abuse!
Shut down the abuse machine!
All this killing is obscene!
Shut down the abuse machine!
You guys are bloody... Make some noise for yourself, that's really cool.
Go vegan, all you beautiful people!
But folks, we are here because we do want to end speciesism. We do want to have an equal world for all living beings on this planet. That does not mean just humans. It means every living being. Every living creature that lives on this planet deserves a life. And it deserves a life that's not threatened by humans. So please, come up, talk to everybody here today. We are all on the same page. There are some amazing people out in the audience. If you see the Animal Lib Queensland people, talk to them. They have amazing projects that they're working on, so please get behind them. So there's Cameron there, there's Kathy there. Wonderful people. Go and have a chat to them. We can make a difference in this world, but the only way we can make a difference is if we actually start standing up, making our voices heard, because we are the voices for the voiceless, the ones who can't be heard. We have to give them our voice. We have to protect them. They have just as much right to be here as humans. Just think about it. Which species is the only species that creates war? Which species is the only species that's destroying the environment? Which species is the only species that goes out and murders and kills? It's like, yes, thank you. Yes, somebody got it out there. Yeah, definitely humans. We are probably the worst on the planet, to be quite frank. So we need to lift our game. We need to change. We need to change what is happening in this world, and we need to start doing it now. So please, folks, be active, be vocal, support. If you don't want to be vocal in public, there are many other ways that you can get involved. Come and see the team from the Animal Justice Party. We have other ways that you can be involved. Give us your voice to take your voice into Parliament, but we need your support. Coast to Coast needs your support with events, raising money for all the different charities. Animals Lib need support because they do so much outreach. They do amazing stuff to stop this horrific treatment of animals on our planet.
Smile today, 'cause you might be gone tomorrow. Smile today at someone you love. And smile today if you're feeling good. Smile today if you feel